Hit.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to be reviewing this guy here, which is the Huxwrx Flow 762 Ti. So, anybody who's seen my previous video on the HXQD556, I mentioned that as a left-handed shooter, especially with ARs, the Huxwrx cans were the only options that I ever really even looked at or entertained. I have shot a couple of other rifles with standard baffle suppressors, and it's absolutely miserable for me. You get gassed out even as a righty, but being a lefty with the ejection port sitting there right, about 10 o'clock to your face, it makes it even worse. So there are some things that you give up, such as sound suppression levels. Though if you were to go look at Pew Science's data, they would tell you that these aren't as bad as I think the internet makes it seem like it is. I know a lot of what comes into factor with cans is the tone and how it sounds to a shooter that can be more or less pleasurable, enjoyable, make it sound like it's louder, however you want to say it. So, I've had this can for a while. Right after I bought this is when they came out with the Flow 556K. And that one is made out of 3D printed steel, I believe. Maybe it's Inconel. Quite a bit shorter than this, a lot lighter. And was even quieter. So I had already started to wait for this when the Flow 556K was released. So it couldn't really go back on that one. That said, I have been happy with this can. It definitely is a little bit of a chunker. But once the Flow 762 Ti came out, I knew I definitely wanted one of those. And these came out in, I think it was late 2023, maybe like third quarter or something like that. And with these cans here, besides it being a 30 cal can, they are made out of 3D printed titanium. So that's something definitely different. I'm not one of those guys that feel like I need a whole bunch of different 5.56 cans. But I knew I definitely wanted something in 30 cal eventually, even though up until a little while ago, I did not have any 30 caliber guns. So, that said, the Pew Science data really says that these cans are even quieter than the 5.56K cans, so quite a bit quieter than even these ones, even being 30 cal shooting a 5.56 projectile through them. So I was always very interested, but the Huxwrx cans, they are not cheap. And when they first came out, I think they were going for the full-on MSRP of like, I want to say it was $1,600. Somewhere around there, that's definitely a lot of cake. And then looking back in January, every once in a while I would go on to Silencer Shop's website, and they do run promotions now and then where you get a free tax stamp. And I clicked on there one day and saw that the Flow 762 Ti was part of that free tax stamp promotion. And not only that, but the price had been knocked down to I think it was like $1,300, $1,348, something like that. So not a huge difference from the full value, but still decent enough. And you couple that with the free tax stamp, I was like, all right, I'm definitely sold on that. And then that's when the wave of super fast approvals were coming through. So I figured I'd go ahead and roll the dice. Got it, and was very happy that I got it. Got it approved within 23 days. I think it's certified on the 31st of January. Got the email on the 23rd. So I was definitely very stoked. Talking about the can itself, a little bit what comes in the package. With the 5.56, HXQD 5.56, I did get a muzzle device that came with it. It was their flash hider. With the Flow 762, you get a muzzle device as well, but it is a break and is threaded 5/8 by 24. So usually the most common 308, 30 cal, style threads on there. But it also does come with this tool here, which is very handy because, for one, it has a smaller size for their muzzle devices, so you can torque it down. As you can see, it has a quarter here, or a 3/8 drive cut out here for the torque wrench, so you can torque it down. And then on top of that, on the back side of it, it's got a wrench that you can engage the wrench flats off of and get your can off of your gun. That was something that's definitely very handy to have also. I know especially like my gun with my my Mark 18, where the wrench flats for the muzzle device are so close to the rail that I had to go buy a special adjustable wrench for it. As you can see here, a low profile one that allowed me to get in here. And why you can't get a standard adjustable wrench is because the threads for the can are actually larger in diameter than wrench flats themselves. So I had to go buy this special wrench for it. Ended up actually buying two. I know when it comes to tools, I mean, this was like a $30 wrench, so $60 and 2 wrenches total, because I wanted to keep one in my range bag and have one at my house. This thing here would have solved that, would have allowed me to go ahead and torque on my muzzle device. But it is what it is now. At least it's included. So now when I go to the range and the can gets seized on here, because that will happen from time to time, you can get on the wrench flats with the special tool that's included along with it. Outside of that, you know, the biggest thing that you're going to notice when you first get these out of, or what I noticed when I first got it out of the box, was the weight. Obviously, titanium and steel, they're going to be drastically different weights, but it is just like absolutely crazy. Like, I feel like I could probably club somebody to death with this thing, whereas this thing here, I feel like you probably would just make somebody angry. I believe that the weight on this, as Huxwrx lists it, is 17.4 ounces. And this one is like 11.8. I don't know if they include the weight of the muzzle device in that, because when I weighed this one, brand new, it was 10.4. Now, granted, I have shot this can a bit. It's really hard to judge how many rounds that I have put through it. It's not a little amount, but it's not a ton of amount either. I haven't cleaned this can out yet, but this weighed like 1.24 pounds. So definitely a huge difference. As far as length, they're very, very similar. I believe this one is 6.67, where the Flow 762 is 6.7. And then diameter, this is 1.6 inches in diameter. This is 1.8, but as far as 30 cal cans go, very, very compact can. I mean, basically the same size as a 5.56. So, you know, now going on to sound suppression and performance. Like I mentioned, Pew Science on paper says that this can is quieter. I couldn't really tell a huge difference between them. It would be really debatable. I've only taken this out and shot it a few times yet so far, and some of the reason why this has taken so long to come out with this video, even though I've had this since you know, the end of February, is because I wanted to wait until I had a 30 caliber gun. So in this case, it was AKs, and you know, I've had previous videos shooting this on my Polish barrel, chambered in 7.62 by 3.9, and then also my Sam 7K, which is a little short 8.3 inch barrel. I'm going to drop some clips of me shooting it, not only just on my 30 cal AKs, but a few different platforms of 5.56 hosts, different lengths, ARs, along with my Tavor SAR. One thing that you're going to hear is that there is a ringy noise, and I believe that it is coming off the flash suppressor tines on the cap here. But you'll hear it in the video clips, brand new. It makes like a tuning fork sound as you shoot, a very slight ringing noise. From what I've heard, that after you shoot a couple hundred rounds through or so, it goes away. I have noticed it's gotten a little bit less since I first shot it. And again, you know me, I shot my Mark 18, my 11, did I shoot at my 11.5? Maybe no, not my 11.5, my 12.5, my 18, 14.5, my 16-inch Tavor, and then of course on my 7.62 AK. So One of the other things is that Huxwrx says that it takes 200 rounds to blow out any type of manufacturing residue, titanium residue that's built up during the manufacturing or the printing process of it. I did notice it was a little bit flashy, but I didn't notice huge sparks. Though the times I have shot this, this has been in bright daylight. But I have seen some videos and pictures online of people with not just their Flow 762, but also their HXQD titanium version, and it's looked really sparky. And I haven't seen that out of this, so I was very happy with that. Some of that residue you see here on this can was from melting my 100 Concepts light cap. On my 12.5, it was positioned so close I didn't realize it. With the larger diameter, I was melting it and spinning it off, and then I didn't realize it's till too late. But not a big deal, just cosmetic. But overall, been very happy with the choice on this one. I don't have any other recent comparisons to go by how it sounds next to other cans. I know AKs are not super quiet anyway. A lot of it has to do with the gas that has escaped around the gas block, along with the action, the noise of the action that's not super quiet. But again, as a lefty, I would even consider any other cans. And just like the HXQD, what I love about these things probably the most is it does not mess with your tuning of your guns whatsoever, or it doesn't mess with the operation that requires tuning of your guns whatsoever. I did get a K&S piston for my barrel, but that was just running it even just, with no can on there whatsoever. But all of my guns, you notice almost zero operational difference whatsoever. I think just on a couple of my ARs, you may notice a few degrees of angle. The ejection pattern changes, but minimal, with no gas to the face over outside of what you would normally have. And very, very cool can. Definitely like it a lot. I know there's been some talk about the service life of these. The white paper said they were only good for like 20,000 rounds or something like that. But Huxwrx already says that if you maintain these things, and clean them on the regular interval, which I believe they're like 1,500 rounds, you should be cleaning these things. They will last longer than that. I think they have one that's going in like the tens of thousands of range. It's still going strong. And even though this is 3D printed, they did mention they have found a way to go ahead and cut the end cap off and record these things, so you can salvage them along with your registered serial number if that's a concern. Honestly, I don't shoot anywhere near as much as some people. I don't know if I'll ever even I'll ever shoot this thing out, provided that I maintain it and clean it every 1,500 rounds, which, just like this can here, consists of just dropping it into a container of CLP, letting it sit overnight, shake out the excess, and then go stick it on the end of your gun and fire some rounds through it, and it just shoots the crap out of the end of the vent holes here. And that is how you service these cans. So again, I'm going to drop some videos in there, HXQD versus the Flow 762 Ti. But mainly speaking of the Flow 762 Ti, there's a lot of people, a lot of videos on YouTube have already stated, great can, highly recommended. I would tell you that if you are a 5.56, primarily a 5.56 shooter, and you're trying to decide which can to get, I would go ahead and just get the Flow 762 Ti over a 5.56 can. If I were to go back in time again, if this can had been out, I probably would have not got this one, but I'm not going to complain. Having more suppressor is not a bad thing. So anyway, hope that helped anybody out looking at the Flow 762 Ti. That's been my experiences with it. I liked it a lot. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe if you would, share the video as much as you like, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.